Right. Good evening, YouTube. Dervador Weldor here, coming at you with my final thoughts on the Arc Pig. So today we're talking about the Arc Pig. Final thoughts. Had it for a while. It's the demo unit. Had it for a while. Got to use it on a couple jobs. Even one of the jobs was working on a cast aluminum engine block. And it does good. So let me talk about the good things. Things I love about the Arc Pig. I love the fact it's small. I love the fact it's light. I love the fact it's easy to hook up. I love the fact that it fits in a box very well. I love the fact it's pretty rugged. It gives you, it's an extra tool in the toolbox. It gives you something you can use, something you can easily throw behind the seat of the truck or in a toolbox or something like that you're not taking up all this space of a whole nother machine. Now, because of that, you're not getting all the benefits of another machine. Like, you cannot control the amperage at a foot pedal or something like that unless you have a machine built for that already. So it's not the Arc Pig's fault. That's not its job. Its job is not to control the amperage. It doesn't do that. And I have to keep telling people, stuff like this in the HF251D are not going to control the amperage. Now, things I don't like about it. One thing I don't like about it, I don't like the way the trigger connections are. I absolutely hate crimp fittings so much. I hate them for my truck. I don't use them on my truck. I use crimp with heat shrink for all my connections. I absolutely hate those stupid, cheap, crimp connectors. I hate them so much. But that's what comes on them. It's not like I can't go to the store and buy a couple heat shrink crimp connectors for $5 or whatever they cost, and still have extra left over. What else? Something about the Arc Pig. I don't know what it is. I've had this and the HF251D, and I don't know really what the difference is. So there's a strange thing. The Arc Pig can be very violent when it arcs. It seems the puddle just isn't very stable with the Arc Pig, and it has a tendency to just go poof randomly. With my HF251D, that didn't happen so much. Same with the tungsten. The tungsten will be very erratic with it. It's very violent on the tungsten. I actually stopped using a green tungsten, which is a pure tungsten, which is the one they say you're supposed to use for a pure sine wave transformer machine. And I started using a red one, and the red one helped out a lot, but it still could be quite violent. So I don't quite understand what all that is. Also started using a number 5 cup with the aluminum. That helped some too. But still get a violent puddle and a very erratic puddle. Now, the nice thing about this, I did a cast aluminum engine block for one of the garage tycoons around here, and it's nice to have this over a spool gun in certain cases, and this is one of those cases where it pays off to have this over a spool gun. Really small part, just a little ear that broke off, right? That is a chain tensioner for the timing chain, where the tensioner pulls back and bolts through. It bolted it, and it shattered, right? Not the kind of thing you want to use a spool gun on. This was nice because I was able to take the little small, tiny pieces, bevel them, clean them up, and take this with a high amperage and just kind of pop. Hit it real quick, hold it, let up, just let it kind of wash over, then go to the other side, hit it, pop, wash over, tack those pieces in there with a stainless steel bolt in there so it holds its shape. Once they're tacked in there, I go back to my Bobcat, turn the amperage down to roughly about where I want to be welding at. And then, I can take my time. I can actually hit it and run the arc over the area I'm going to be welding. Even though this was a reman engine that was sent off to a shop and cleaned and all of that, there's still junk in that aluminum you got to get out. So you can hover your TIG torch over that and just run that current, and it'll pull stuff up to the surface. Then you take your stainless steel brush and brush it off. And the results were very nice. So, really the reason that some of it doesn't look bad, doesn't look great, is I need practice with this. Now that I've had it and I've got to use it, it's great. I think this, in conjunction with a spool gun setup on your truck, if you have, say, you got a Bobcat or an older Trailblazer or whatever kind of machine, or a Ranger or something like that has AC and constant voltage on it, the ultimate setup for doing almost any kind of aluminum without having to have a separate machine would definitely be the Arc Pig and a like a Miller control box, like the WC-115, or the one that not AHP, HTP makes, or even Lincoln's version of that if you're just hardcore Lincoln. That setup right there, this would allow you to do almost all aluminum. Now, like I said, this kind of has a violent arc. This is not going to be the perfect arc. You cannot fine tune it and change it and make it soft and buttery, or, you know, all of that. You're stuck with what your machine puts out, and that's a limitation. You're not going to be doing perfect X-ray aluminum welds with this. It's just not meant to do that. I'm sure if you really sat there and you set everything up just right, you could get an X-ray weld out of this thing, but it's just not meant for that. This is meant for repair. This is meant to sit behind the seat of your truck, and you're normally just doing steel, you're running your Ranger or your Bobcat or whatever, and somebody comes out and goes, hey man, while you're here fixing this bucket, you know, can you take care of this fuel cell here we got in the back of the truck that's done split open, right? That, you know, that's something you really don't want a spool gun, right? You know, take the two sides where the weld is split like this, smack them back together, grind it out, and then take this right here, and you can set that amperage just a little low to start with, and hang out on the end until, you know, it starts to puddle. Then make your way over to where you ground it out, and then right there, across that joint. That's what this is good for. A spool gun just is terrible for fuel cells and outside corner joints. I'm sure somebody can do it much better than me. I've never had good luck with thin metal outside corner joints with a spool gun. It always just is, it's nasty. I always hate it. I'd rather TIG weld stuff like that. But when it comes to, you know, plates and square and angle and all the other stuff, I'd rather spool gun. So this, with a spool gun setup, is going to be your ultimate aluminum solution without having to carry a separate welding machine. However, this is the nail in the coffin for an Arc Pig, and I hate to say it. Most modern engine drive welders are now going away from transformer-based machines and going to inverters, and inverters are DC only, which kills the Arc Pig entirely because there's no need for it. There's no AC. I mean, if you want to use it for high-frequency start or no-contact start, I guess. But if you're a professional welder, you shouldn't need something to help you get the arc started, right? This, as a professional welder, you're looking for an arc stabilizer so you can TIG weld aluminum. So, like, my next machine is probably going to be a Lincoln Vantage. This would be worthless on a Lincoln Vantage 400 because the Lincoln Vantage 400 doesn't have AC weld output. The only way I'm going to be able to TIG weld aluminum off of a Lincoln Vantage is if I go get a separate AC TIG machine, like I go get a Lincoln Square TIG or a Miller Dynasty or something like that. Is the only way I'm going to be TIG welding aluminum off of my Vantage. So then this is useless for that setup. So in final conclusion, the Arc Pig, yes, second go round, it is worth it. It is very much worth every penny. But you gotta understand its limitations. If you are just starting out and say you got an old Lincoln Ranger 8 or something you want to use, and you just want to be able to TIG weld aluminum off of it, or an old Bobcat 225G, and you just want to be able to TIG weld aluminum off it, you don't want to go spend $1,000 on a HF 251D that's used, and it takes up as much space as another machine, so why? This will work. It's worth the money, okay? Understand it's limited. Understand you're not going to be doing x-ray work with it. It is an aid to help you with repairs. and fixing stuff and some general fabrication. Alright? I was going to try to set up a time with one of my friends and use a old AC buzz box, but we weren't able to get that set up because both me and him have been crazy busy, and I apologize for that. So at the end of this video, I'm going to post the pictures of the work that I've done with this. I'm going to put up the pictures of the cast aluminum I did with it. I know it's not perfect, so people are going to be like, oh, what the hell are you doing? You know, but whatever. It's been forever since I've done any AC TIG welding, and this, in my opinion, was pretty freaking good, and they're able to put that engine back together and get it back in service same day, so my job is done. Alright? Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to the guys from ArcPig for sending me this unit to review. Like I said, I've had it for a while, and I apologize. I'll put it in a box tomorrow and get it shipped back to y'all. Thank you everyone else for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And you all have a fantastic day.